right, so good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm not there today. I am in the office, so if you need anything, you guys could call down to the office and ask me questions. But I think you guys should be okay. You've done something like this before. Today, you guys are going to be looking at the progressives. And since, on Friday, we talked about unfair working conditions and housing conditions, and we started talking about labor unions, and there were strikes and riots and things like that. Because we were practicing laissez-faire capitalism and there was no government reform, things got a little bit out of hand. And so during today's activity, you guys are going to look at how we progressed during the age of progressivism and the Gilded Age and all of that, to see how we fixed a lot of those things. And we're doing an activity that you guys did last year, which is a visual summary activity. So you're going to learn about a lot of different types of reform movements that are going on. And while you're doing that, you are going to be filling out this little reform worksheet. Now, last year this said Stalin on it, because you did this activity over Joseph Stalin. And so you're going to do the same activity today over the progressive era, except this time our word is reform, because everything is all about reform. So if you don't know what group you're already in, I've also put your groups on this PowerPoint as well too. There's 6 groups, there's 6 stations. There should be, most classes have 4 in a group, but there's a few that have 5 because it's a bigger class. But make sure you're sitting in those groups corresponding to the, I need to delete this part, corresponding to the signs that are on the, attached to the ceiling. So a little bit to review what you're actually doing for this. So you're placed in 6 different groups. You guys saw your groups. If you're not in those groups, you guys will need to move to those groups after you get done listening to this. At each station, you can see there's a label about what the station is about and what letter you should be corresponding to. And there's a short reading of a concept or movement that occurred during the Gilded Age. And if you don't remember the Gilded Age, gilded means covered in gold. And so during this time, we're making lots of money and everything looks wonderful and nice. But gilded only means covered in gold. It's not pure gold. So underneath all of that is, it's not as valuable. It's rough looking. And that's kind of if you look deeper into our society, you can see there's a lot of stuff wrong. So that's also Mark Twain came up with that nickname. But anyway, you're going to look over a short reading or concept of a concept or movement that happened during the time. Most of them are just 1 page front and back. There's some that are... I think there's just one that might have a little part onto a 3rd page. But you are going to have 8 minutes, okay? And you should use your 8 minutes. You're going to have 8 minutes to read through the document, front and back. And then after you've read the document, you're doing 2 things. 1, you're creating visuals within each bubble letter. You may use symbols or pictures. You're not just coloring a color. So for women's suffrage, just don't color that letter pink just because it's for women. You need to draw little things or design it based on the concept that you are reading about. And so I should be able to look at that letter and see that you have visually summarized what that concept is. And I would like it to be colorful. So there is color pencils and markers at the desk in a little basket. But just looking at that letter, I should be able to say, oh yeah, they understand that women's suffrage is about women trying to get the right to vote and working on the 19th Amendment getting passed. And so I should be able to see that through your visual in the letter. Then the second thing you also need to do is you can see there's a box. So you color in your letter, and then there's a box right here that you just write a summary about what you learned. It doesn't need to be massive. I would say 1 to 2 sentences summary, you're summarizing those pages. What did you get from that? So yeah, 1 to 2 sentences in your own words. You are in groups. It's up to you whether or not you work with the people in your groups, but you are expected to get this stuff done in these stations today, and I will be collecting these papers tomorrow in class. Okay, so you need to make sure you're working. Like I said, you can do it individually, you can do it together as a group. There is going to be enough documents at every table for everyone to get their own document to read, so it's not like you have to share the papers. But you're going to have 8 minutes, okay, to complete each station, and my guess is you're going to get about 4 or maybe 5 stations done. That I left tomorrow open. Not open. We have some stuff we're going to do, but I left tomorrow for you guys to finish this up. So when class gets over today, don't throw that paper away. Don't lose it. You're getting it out tomorrow, and you're going to complete the activity tomorrow. And then you will hand that into me. So you will hand in whatever you have done into me at the end of class tomorrow. Finally, you can expect there is some sort of quiz tomorrow. It is going to be over immigration, urban life, working conditions, labor unions, and then this stuff today as well too. We will debrief tomorrow to make sure we're understanding those important concepts. But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. You guys should be good to go. I'll go ahead and let Mr. Mullen take over. We'll see you tomorrow.